Hello, folks. Officer Tony here. What do Paul Stanley and Ricky have in common? Two things. One, they both like Kiss. And two, they're both sloppy guitar players. Yeah, I like Kiss too, though.
Hello, Richard from budgetguitarist.com. And I'm going to pretend to be Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons at the same time. If you are a true Kiss fan who plays guitar, you're going to know that that song is not normally played in the key of E. I don't really know or care what key these songs were originally in. I'm just kind of playing around here. Also, I can sing that song in the key of E. I can't sing it up higher where Gene sings it. So anyway, let's go with another one. That song, by the way, was the song She. See if you can guess from my limited little playing here the name of each track as I'm playing just a little section of it. Let's see if you can figure it out. So how am I doing this? Well, here's the basic premise. On the HX Stomp, you can have two totally different paths, signal paths. You only have 8 blocks to work with, and a block can be anything from a pedal to a speaker to an amp to a whatever. So I've got 2 different paths going. My one path is the bass path, and basically all that is an amplifier and like a pitch module that's down tuning the guitar by an octave. And I've got it hard panned this way. On your laptop or your phone or whatever, it might end up on the other speaker, but the point is I've got the bass panned hard to one side. On the other side, I've got basically just like one of the Marshall amps, and I'll show you like all the settings once I've explained what I'm doing. I've got like a Marshall amp, and I've got another pitch block, and I've set the pitch block to generate a chord. And the cool thing about this, you can't see it because the videos cut me off at the knees. I've got my expression pedal connected to my HX Stomp, and so when it's down, it's just regular, and then when it's up, it's generating the chord. So with that in mind, you can do stuff like this. Or if you're into Old Rush. How's that go? Something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Anyway. So anyway, let me switch over to the computer monitor and kind of take you through the patch and how it's put together. I thought about like, oh, I can put this online and people could download it, but really, it's so easy to just go through and set it up yourself, and you're probably going to want to tweak it. So I thought it'd be better if I just went through the patch and showed you how to do it. So let's do that now. Okay, so let's go through the patch. On the top path, I've got my bass guitar, and on the bottom, I've got my rhythm guitar. Let's look at the top first. I've got a pitch module, I've got an amp with speaker cabinet, and I've got a compressor. So for the pitch module, I'm just using simple pitch, and I've got the interval set to -12, right? You can see all of my other settings. The mix is set at 100%. That's very important, because if you don't set the mix at 100%, you're going to hear the natural tone, plus you're going to hear the tone down 1 octave, and so you have to do that. So I've got that. For the amp, I chose the Jazz Rivet 120. This is a Roland Jazz chorus. Is that Rivet or Rivet? And what is that supposed to mean? I don't know. If you know, put it in the comments. Basically, this is not really a bass amp, but as you can see, because I'm using 2 pitch modules, my choice of amps is pretty limited here, as you can see. And it does fine. So that's just an amp and cabinet. And then I've got a compressor here that I've got set 10-to-1. Most bass players compress their bass. It's just done that way. So then how is this thing only on the left-hand side? Well, if you look at this little block right here, you can see that I've got the level set for A and the level set for B, right? So there's a little dot here, sort of like a little mini mixer. So here's my volume for A, which is the top path, the bass. Here's my volume for B, the bottom path, which is guitar. For A, I've got it panned all the way to the left. For B, I've got it panned all the way to the right. So if you wanted to do this trick and you didn't want hard panning, you could go in and just like adjust these. But in this case, that's how I'm sending 1 path to the left speaker and 1 path to the right. This block right here, in case you're wondering, I'm just using that for recording. So I'm using my Tascam 16 input interface. I've got the lapel mic going in, and then I'm sending signal from this guy out to it using send left and right. So I'm just recording the audio. So let's get to the bottom path. The amp that I've chosen is the Brit Plexi Bright. I've got the drive cranked up. I've got the mids cranked up. I've got the bass dialed down. Got the master all the way up. This is sort of typical vintage Marshall-y sounding, which is sort of like that sound of old Kiss records, right? So pretty stock there. For the cabinets, I chose a 4x12 greenback. Okay, so let me go in and temporarily turn off the bass. So let me turn the bass all the way off. So here's my pitch. This is what I'm turning on and off with the expression pedal. You could just as easily use a switch on the Stomp. So here we go. That's just the regular tone, okay? Now when I turn it on, you're actually hearing 3 notes. You're hearing the regular tone, in this case low E, and then you're hearing the 5th above that and the octave. Right? So here's the octave, here's the 5th above it. So what's a power chord? A power chord is root 5th octave. I'm simulating a power chord. See? And I can play around with that if you want. There's the 5th. There's the 4th. So an interesting variation on this patch would be you could set this, instead of having the expression pedal turn this on and off, you could have the expression pedal change the interval of this thing. So you could do funky stuff with it, you know, playing along and just change. You could play one note and change the chord just by modifying this parameter here. But in my case, basically I've got the expression pedal 2 set to bypass. So the pedal turns this on and off, basically like that. So that's essentially how this patch works. I mean, I'm only using 5 blocks. You can see though that when you're using a couple of different pitch blocks, these things gobble CPU cycles. So if you got something like the Pod Go or something like the HX Stomp and you only have one processor, you have to be really thrifty then with your amplifiers. That would be what I've done here. So anyway, that's how this patch is put together. So there you go. There's a couple of cool tricks in the patch I made for today. One is like simulating a bass and a guitar at the same time, and the other is using like a pitch module to make chords, and you can fine tune that thing. I have noticed, like as I was playing this, it did sound a teeny bit out of tune to me, and that has a little bit to do with how well the guitar is tuned. Epiphone Les Pauls, Gibson Les Pauls for that matter, their forte is not staying perfectly in tune. So I might have made a better decision had I used like my PRS S2. However, if you're playing Kiss, I mean, you gotta go with the Les Paul. Even though Ace Frehley played the Les Paul, but Paul Stanley played a menagerie of lesser guitars. Firebird and the Junior he played the Flying V. That was personally my favorite up until the Iceman, and then the Iceman was cool. I'd like to buy an Iceman at some point in time, or maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing, clicking the bell, like the video. That really helps me out, etc. and so on. And I will see you again next Friday, as always, at 5.